Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Overcommitment and burnout are often looked at as a badge of honor in today's world. Here to share how saying no can actually strengthen your relationships, we welcome back personal growth strategist and author of Build Your Village. It's our friend, Florence Ann Romano. It's so nice to see you.
That's the biggest honor to get, to be called a friend. It's good to see you too, my friend. Thrilled to be back.
Well, let's talk about using these boundaries as a way to actually build relationships. We're not talking about pushing people away.
No, we're not. And I laugh. I was just talking to someone about this segment today, and I said, I'm going to talk about a very dirty word, very, very dirty. It's called boundaries. And they started laughing, not knowing where I was going to go with that, because it's true. You say boundaries to people, and everyone's like, whoa, that's on the defense now for me. I shouldn't be, that word shouldn't be applied to me. How dare you? And so boundaries, as we talk about it today, is really to help you fight for the relationship. That's what boundaries are there for. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be having these conversations. And as you go down that rabbit hole of boundaries, you enter that world of no. And as you mentioned before in the beginning, we feel like it's a betrayal when we say no to someone. We want to please, we want to be polite, we want to be loved and liked and all of those things. And so when we say no, we feel like we're doing something wrong. And then that's when we become exhausted and depleted. And then we're unable to show up for the people in our life that really need us.
Well, that's kind of the vicious cycle, right? You don't want to say no, so you overcommit. Oh my gosh, I'm exhausted and I can't show up as my true, authentic self as I want to for my loved ones because I've just overdone it.
Right. It's like when you're on an airplane and they say you put that oxygen mask on yourself first before you can help anyone else. And that is true of so much in our life. And when you also are testing that boundary conversation, I always like to think about what's the goal that you have for this person, this relationship. Why am I setting this boundary? And maybe that has to do with work. It has to do with a friendship. It has to do with romantic relationship. No matter what you're looking to establish in terms of boundaries, set yourself up for success in that conversation by taking a step back and saying, what am I fighting for? It's easier to have that conversation when you know that you're looking at the positive outcome. And when you're going to also be broaching that topic with someone's personality in mind as well. That's how you're going to frame that conversation. And more often than not, if you do that planning, and it's not that labor intensive, it just takes a little thoughtfulness and a little intentionality. If you do that, then you're probably going to end up closer to that goal. Even if you have to compromise a little bit, you're probably going to end up closer to that if you're thoughtful about it from the beginning.
That's a great way to think about it. And what about your mindset, thinking about things that you get to do versus you have to do, and how can that be helpful?
That's very difficult for people because we're overextended in this world. And so of course we want to reframe our thinking saying, I get to do this and I'm blessed to be able to do that. And it's of course that's a wonderful way of looking at it. But the only way you're going to be able to have those two buckets of I get to versus I have to is if you're doing the self-care, if you're actually doing this work, because your bucket in one column is probably going to be overflowing, and that's going to end up being the I have to if you're not making the cuts, you're not making the modifications as you go. An example of this would be when you're going to hang out with a friend or something like that, and you make those plans weeks away, and then the day is about a couple days away, and now you're going to actually have to follow through on that get together, but you're exhausted. You've got to think to yourself, is this something that is going to fill me up? If once I'm there, is it going to do something for me that is going to satiate me? It's going to help me mind, body, and soul. Then maybe you're going to push yourself to do that. But if you really are at your limit that week, then maybe you are going to consider saying to that person, I have to say no, and I am so sorry, and not over explaining yourself either. But if you can find that in yourself to stand up for what you need in that moment, then I'm all for it. But also being a reliable friend is something in the back of our minds as well. So this is a delicate dance, but in order, again, for those columns to work, you're going to have to do this work continually. It's an exercise for you in order to be able to fill those buckets in a way that is going to feel not always equal, but it's going to feel manageable for you.
Well, and it feels like if you approach that way and you think about what's going to best serve me and help me move forward in my day and my life, it can help reduce some of that guilt too of saying no, because that's something that we struggle with a lot.
And also paying attention to your bandwidth. You, as an adult, are going to start realizing that more often than not if you are overcommitting and what that feels like for you. Your body and your mind, they're great gauges for that temperature check. And we those signals. So start paying attention to what feels too much, or also what feels like you're not being filled enough with that joy or that purpose that you're looking for as well. Paying attention to these signs around you and how you connect, how you communicate, how you use your community and your village. That's also going to help you know yourself better. And knowing thyself is usually the first answer to any of these questions.
Well, there you go. That's a great place to start. It is always so nice chatting with you. Thank you so much for stopping by today.
So good to see you too, my friend. Say no to someone today.
Okay. I'll tell him you said I could. Okay, I'm going to blame you. All right, Florence Ann's book again is Build Your Village, and we'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.